Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, stop in your tracks. You're not going to want to miss this one because I'm about to add a bonus entry into my previous video that's titled something like the Wicked Witches of the West Awards, where I went through 10 women who I believe are the Wicked Witches of the West, and I ranked them in order from 1 to 10, obviously 1 being the wickedest of all. And then, of course, you guys, the winning team, the greatest gift of all time. One of you guys in the comments wrote an hour ago under that video, Sarah asks where Meghan Markle would be on the list. When I read this, guys, I laughed about this forever. I was like, this is the funniest thing. How could I forget? How could I forget to have included one of the wickedest witches of the West, Meghan Markle? And just because you precious, beautiful individuals, one of you guys, shout out to Sarah, decided to bring this to my attention, I am going to give my full opinion on Meghan Markle because I haven't really said so much recently. I have in the past. I do indeed see her as a witch. I do. And I'm going to talk about exactly why that is. If you're already enjoying this video, if you guys want to hear my thoughts, right, because this is about to get crazy, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. If you're new here, subscribe, okay? You won't regret it. And, oh, by the way, guys, sorry if I look a little bit soggy. I've just been out and it's raining, which I love the rain so much. I love, whenever it rains, I honestly believe, like, it's my gift from God, like, that it's raining, because I love the rain. I love walking around in the rain while it's raining. I just love it. Anyway, more importantly, Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle. Now, let me just tell you guys, we'll go through the journey of my thoughts on this woman, an individual in particular. Because the first time I ever heard or have seen Meghan Markle is she played the role of a paralegal on Suits, a series I did watch from start to finish, long before there was anything to do with her and Prince Harry. Now, Suits is a really good TV show, I'm not going to lie to you. I think it's a very good show. So when I saw that I didn't know her as a person in any type of way, she was just an actress. When I saw her with Prince Harry, I was not surprised because I'll be very honest, it doesn't surprise me with Harry, okay? It doesn't surprise me about Prince Harry at all. I don't think it surprised anyone that he would make such a decision. And I'll just leave it at that because I don't want this to become about something it's really not about at all, you know? And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And now we're starting to see who she is as a person. And I looked into her. I saw that she had done, she like written a letter, I think, to the White House as like a kid because she was upset that in a TV advert, that they were selling, I think it was like washing up liquid or whatever. And they were talking about it as though like to women, as in like, this is a job for women to do. And we are talking directly to the people who are using this product. She wasn't very happy about that. She writes a letter, and I think the company actually changed it all, which I find it really interesting, by the way, that a lot of these wicked witches, and some people are really going to be upset that I'm even referring to her as a witch after that situation. Like I said, I am not giving my thoughts on what I think about that yet. So just hold that thought. I just find it fascinating how often wicked witches, or even just women in general, we hold these very like pivotal moments in society of turning down a certain road. Much like the other women I mentioned in my last playlist, right? We have Kris Jenner. Her family is pretty much was pretty much the number one influencer in the social media department for plastic surgery, for example, right? They turned the tide. They had all this work done. They acted like it was the working out. They got people to buy the stuff to look like them just to reveal that they were actually getting work done anyway, or never really admit to it. And I remember people had a whole deal about the fact that on the last official episode of the first Keeping Up with the Kardashians, before they moved over to this new Disney Plus thing, they were asked at the final episode about the plastic surgery, to which point they didn't answer the question, as always. But everybody knows they get plastic surgery. That's why everybody's getting plastic surgery. My point is, there are certain things and certain people that when they do certain things or they say certain things, it takes us down a certain direction as a society, much like Beyonce referencing OnlyFans in one of her songs, and all of a sudden, there's a spike in OnlyFans models. Just throwing some ideas out there, right? So I found it fascinating that that was what Meghan Markle did as a kid. And I can't really remember much about her whole, oh gosh, I've just realized something that's really unfortunate. This is a really unfortunate decision. Oh gosh. Anyway, and so I found that fascinating. I never really decided if I thought that was a good or a bad thing, by the way, till now, what she did, because on the one hand, I understand, I'm not going to give my opinions on why I don't know how. I feel neutral on the subject. I don't agree that she should have. I don't think she shouldn't have necessarily. And then now she's ended up with none other than Prince Harry. Now, I feel for Prince Harry, much do I think a lot of others in the United Kingdom, and also William, because of everything they went through, losing their mum, Diana, who everybody loves, which I love Diana. Diana was an angel, right? You know, when I talk about women are witches versus angels, Diana was an angel. She was a true life angel. And unfortunately, we lost her. We won't get into my thoughts on what happened to Diana. Yeah, that's going to take a lot for me to talk about on YouTube. I'm not even going to lie. To really say what I really have to say, because for me, obviously, everything gets spiritual. So anyway, I think we all felt for them as young men losing their mum. And then on top of that, just a lot of things that are unknown about being a member of the royal family is, it's one of those bird in a gilded cage type of situations. It's one of those, everything looks great on the outside, but really, poor old Elizabeth didn't really have, just thought of the irony about that anyway. I believe she became queen when she was 16, if I'm not mistaken, and she had to just deal with a lot, regardless of my deeper thoughts on Queen Elizabeth, which I have shared. And so, it's not easy being a royal. I do believe that. But I also, the royal family is, well, let's not get into my thoughts on the royal family. Prince Harry comes away from the situation, goes off with Meghan, and he officially, walks away from his royal status altogether. That was kind of a ballsy move, because even his father, who was off with Camilla, yada, 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 he still never walked away from the royal family in all his rebellious behaviors, if you catch my drift. So it's kind of a huge deal. And looking at Prince Harry as a person, what I've seen of him growing up and everything, I really believe he's a genuine guy, and I think he's very sweet and very naive, very severely naive and impressionable. I hate to say it, but that's what I really think. I think he's just little bit too pure for this world that we live in, kind of like his mum, realistically. And I think with her, they kind of had a crossover point of going through maybe a lot of things, both being kind of younger and in a slightly different kind of world, and kind of understanding each other. And I really think his intentions were pure and still are. And I really think that she's a witch. And the reason why I say this is because, I agree. I personally think that all of this stuff that they do, at this point, and the way they're trying to destroy the name of the royal family, it's crazy for me to be talking about this kind of thing, is unnecessary. I think you moved away. This is my opinion. You moved away. You've gone on. Just go forward. But then there's also the other side of me that's I do believe that it's unfair when we protect monsters. You guys know I feel that we live in a world that protects monsters. The problem isn't even him. It's her. The way she's going about all of this, and the way that I feel like she's influencing him, I do think she's influencing him, is to a degree to which is unnecessary and just evil, really. because I think Harry, bless his soul, being a member of the royal family and as innocent as I see him to be, it's sad for him to have such a huge monster that he feels like he comes from. That is insane. I can't imagine. And there is really nowhere on earth that someone like Prince Harry can go and like just do him, because of how famous he is now, because of how important his name is, because of how his face is everywhere. Right. So I can't, he must have felt so lonely, like in this world, like beyond ways I can't possibly imagine, coming from that situation, because he can't get away from his family. He can't get away from his association. And not to say that he even wants to, but, you know, he's allowed to be his own person. He has a right to free will. He has a right to live his life the way he chooses. And he deserves a right to be a person, a human being, like just treated as a human being. Unfortunately, he walks away from one monster into another monster. This is what happens a lot of times with people. This is really what happens a lot of time with people, is that, you know, that's why people be like, why do people get into, you know, these toxic type relationships over and over again? Because when you are used to dealing with monsters, that's something that you know how to do well. Deal with monsters. Like, that's the point. So somebody else is like, why would you do that? And it's like, well, because this is what I'm used to. That's the scariest, most sinister truth of this whole situation, by the way. Just so happens that Meghan Markle, again, exudes everything I tell you guys is what the perfect form of Satan. Is a sweet, trustworthy, young, naive, you know, woman. Right? And she's a great choice as well, because she is black. The black people claim her. Although she really doesn't look very black. She's very, very light-skinned. And she doesn't exactly do a lot of stereotypical, or what others would class as more natural or patriotic cultural styles of like her hair or the way she dresses. You know what I'm saying? She is, of course, mixed race. She's got a white father, I believe, and a black mother. That adds another layer of everything to the situation, doesn't it? The race thing. Because, of course, those two coming together is another great strategy to cause division once again between man and woman. And now, which is, I hate talking about this, but race. This whole race thing, which I'm either like wildly naive, which I am actually. That's why I don't feel safe in this world, because it's not safe to be naive in a world full of monsters. Guys, it's very stressful. Can I just say that? It stresses me out a lot, and I think about this every single day. Right? These two are now, you know, in this thing of race that is becoming more and more of a thing, unfortunately. And so her being with him in the first place is one of those things that people will already, because of everything that's been happening and all these things, be less likely to say their honest thoughts on someone like Meghan Markle. Why? They feel muzzled. Why? Because they don't want to sound racist. Because we now live in a society that in a lot of situations, race is being used as a reason to always be the victim. Once again, this is an absolute masterclass from Satan. So with her and with what she's doing, I just have to say this. I do not believe that she is a good person to Prince Harry. I'm not in a part of their relationship. I don't believe that she is. I don't believe that she is, because I think she should, I don't know. If she is like his person, For real, I wouldn't be so comfortable. Isn't it ironic that Meghan Markle is another one who went to one of the other Wicked Witches of the West that was on my list, Oprah Winfrey, with Prince Harry. And actually, that's when I solidified my feelings, because I told you guys that I like to hear things from the horse's mouth. Whenever I do research on stuff, on people, I tend more to listen to what they said. If I can watch or hear the actual physical voice speaking and saying things, that's when I like to, that's my favorite form of evidence, because you get to hear somebody's choice for how they are expressing themselves. Like, this is their choice. What they're saying is what they are choosing to say. This is the best thing we can hold them accountable to. Not what somebody else said, what they physically said. And on a spiritual level, I can feel what energy you're operating from. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying when it comes to Harry. I think he is naive. Again, I know the feeling very well when you become a victim in that sense, or rather prey to monsters. And she and Oprah, like, for me in that interview, it was like literally watching, it was almost exactly, this is going to sound absolutely insane, what I'm about to say next, right? It was exactly like watching the interview I watched of L. Ron Hubbard. It was almost exactly the same. And this is when L. Ron Hubbard talking about how he wants to take over, he wants to make Zimbabwe the first, Scientology country. You guys can watch the video, because the guy who runs the channel, it's called Growing Up in Scientology, that he has the interview on video. He's put the interview back on YouTube. It's on YouTube, so you can actually watch it. And in the very start of the video, and I think I made a whole video just about this first screen, he was talking about how that conversation, that interview, was scripted, and that all the questions that L. Ron Hubbard was being asked were being asked by somebody who was in Scientology. They were lying to everybody, pretending that it was a random interviewer. In reality, all of the questions and answers had been planned in advance. And that's what made me want to watch the interview even more, because I was like, I want to see exactly what you thought was the most crafty, well thought out way for you to deliver this lie, to make it believable and attractive. And it was just the amount of effort that went into knowing to even thinking to do something like that. And the way him and those two are talking, are like bouncing off of each other, L. Ron Hubbard and the interviewer, it was kind of like Meghan Markle and Oprah. And it kind of was like why I even put Oprah on the list. It's this opportunity of like, we have a huge platform right now and a lot of people listening, and we have an opportunity to actually put out a narrative that a lot of people are immediately going to get behind. That's exactly what gets me. And it was the fact that Meghan's overarching point in the end, like the thing that really upset people the most, didn't even come down to anything to do with Harry. Let's talk about that for a second. It did not come down to anything to do with Harry. It wasn't like, the real thing that people got so upset about with the whole situation was what? She accused the royal family of being racist. That was what, and that for me, and the fact that they didn't take this opportunity, like you're sat there for an hour and a half, you got all these people listening. Even if you guys just wanted to do this to set yourself up with some money, there are about 100 different angles they could have gone down for this. Like, there are so many things that both of them have done that they could have done that didn't have nothing to do with the royal family, that could have still made them lots of money. You know what I'm saying? He is still Prince Harry, even though he's no more a royal member of the royal family. People will forever respect him with that title, of that status, because of the family that he comes from. There's a lot of positive things he can do. And like, I liked how at start, and this is what gets me as well about her, because they met in a very like wholesome, like you can see why he fell in love with how they met, because they met while they were both out, you know, like helping the people. Like she was like, they fell in love. I think he even said something like they fell in love because they both really cared about like the people and like helping the people, and they would go to countries together and do work with other countries, and they fell in love with that, according to him. Maybe that's what she got in it for in the beginning. But after the fact, I'm like, what happened to the people? Like, what happened to the people? What happened to what you guys fell in love with? Because it just seems like everything that's coming out is all just retelling this story. And at a certain point, like, you know, just let your win speak for itself as well, I think, you know. And that's the point, is that if that's not what's happening, it's about something else. Like, and there's something a little bit sinister and heinous going on here, because again, like I said, at the end of the day, people, like, the issues that then come out are more to do with Meghan and the race issue of the royal family. Are they racist? Right? And can I say this, like, just before we go forward, I think it's a little bit silly for me to even question like that when I live in the United Kingdom. And I've lived here for like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of silly to me, like, because if they were that racist, like, I wouldn't be here, realistically, or I would be a slave or whatever. And like I've said to you guys before, my observation of the royal family and the government, who are the only two categories, can I be honest, about this country that I don't like. I love everybody else. I think everybody else is awesome. I love the British public, very much so. You know what I'm saying? It's just the royal family and the members of parliament that I'm really not down with them. And the large reason is because I feel upset even how they're treating their own people. Like, how are you treating your own people like that? That's my point. Like, that's why I just think this whole notion of racism in the royal family is just a little bit ridiculous. I'm not going to lie. Because for me, the royal family are at a different level of heinous, to the point where, like, they don't even care about race. Like, we're all just pawns to them anyway. Like, black, white, avatar, like, who cares what you are? Who cares who cares? We're just, everybody's a pawn to them. Like, it's not important about your race. Like, it really isn't. If you're not their people, they don't care. Like, and that's what I truly believe about them. I truly believe that. That's why I don't really see them as racist, actually. I just think that they're just heinous. To everyone. Everybody. All races, all ages, all generations, everything. I really do see it that way. And that's why I think Diana ended up the way that she did, because you're not going to survive in that. As it's not about race. Hello, Diana. Can we, you see what I'm saying? And so for me, that was just, was giving, like, for me with the Meghan Markle thing, it's just too much. Just like, I needed something else to, like, be a victim about in the world. Like, sis, you got the man, you're rich now, shut up, go and enjoy yourself living in the United States, whoop-de-whoop, shut up now. Like, shut up about it. Like, realistically, shut up. I'm learning a lot from Meghan Markle, you know. Sometimes the Lord allows us to learn lessons by watching people do things that we want to never find ourselves doing. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just like, that's why I do think she's a witch, because I just think the way they're going about it, I really think that maybe for Harry, what he really maybe did need was to separate himself from the family. That's okay. There's many royal family members, and there's many, like he wasn't even, like, the thing is, and that's what makes it crazy, is that, like, it's not like he was next in line to be king, or even next in line to be king. So that's also why I believe the royal family just let him get up to whatever the heck he was getting up to all these years, and we've been seeing him in the newspaper, Prince Harry seen naked and on so-and-so, whatever, Prince Harry doing this, like, you know, they don't care, because, like, you're not in the line to be king anyway, really. That's what I'm saying. Like, they don't care. Like, I don't actually think they cared that deeply. I think he could have just moved on and just, like, gone and done him, and they would have been like, deuces. So when this all came up and what it came about, and the way that I feel like she would pitch it to him, and him based on the type of person he comes across as, I feel like she just weaponizes his naivety, and now he thinks he's doing something good, but he's not, because it's called being under a spell, because that's what happens when you're dealing with a witch, ladies and gentlemen. Ahab and Jezebel in the Bible. It's kind of the similar thing. I don't know about comparing Prince Harry to Ahab, because I don't know. I should really reread that, and really study Ahab for a little bit, because I haven't ever really thought as much into Ahab as a character, as a person, other than the fact that I know he got ensnared by an evil woman who sent him down the path of treachery and was doing all sorts of madnesses in the Bible in the name of love, right? She was like, oh, you wanted that land? He's like, oh, no, they said I can't have that land because it's a generational thing or something like that. And then Jezebel's like, oh, really? Is that the case? All right, babe, I'm just going to go out and get some groceries. Comes back. Yeah, so I killed the guy who owns that land. That the land is yours, babes. Love you, hun. And like moves on. And he's like, whoa, we didn't do all that. But that's with Jezebel now. That's it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying like some things, other things that I think. And so in that sense, I do feel sorry for Harry, because I believe he is truly stuck between a rock and a hard place, like more than a lot of people are in life, like literal rock and hard place, like rock, hard place, like rock and hard place. Those are the two places he's stuck between, because now he's in the hard place. He was out the rock before, and he's just a sweet guy. I think he's a sweet, innocent guy. I really do. I believe he was probably so much like his mother. I think for him, being behind the scenes and actually being a man of the people more so than a lot of other royal family members, is, and do you know what's funny? I was talking with a older white gentleman at the supermarket. He's a lot older. Like, we just got into a random conversation in the supermarket, because this happens all the time. I always see old people when I go shopping, because I either go like very early in the day or very late in the day, like literally when it opens at like 6 or at like 10 p.m, 11, if I can, right? Because, and so when I go in the morning, I end up talking to the old people anyway. And that's when I found it quite funny I found it really interesting to talk to older white folks about their opinion on the royal family, because a lot of them are really not happy about this Charles business. And one of the guys was saying to me about how he noticed that, like, for example, he would never see Queen Elizabeth shaking somebody's hand without her wearing her gloves. And he found that to be really, he didn't like that. And how, like, Prince Charles and all these people, when they're sick, it's not like they go to the NHS. It's not like you see them in the public health service. They're flying. Charles is going to Malaysia. Like, that's what he literally said. It was like, Charles is going to Malaysia. And I was just like laughing I wasn't laughing at the time at him, but I was laughing thinking about it after the fact, and how, like, what his point he was trying to make, that, and just how much people love Diana and see her as a woman of the people. And it's interesting to see others who are from a completely different perspective of mine, right? And what they think of their own royal family, because it's easy for me, or for anyone to for me to say, oh, I don't like the royal family because, oh yeah, I'm a black person. I'm a young black person with red hair. That's what we do, right? We hate everybody that's like in power, and I'm always like that's what I do, right? That's what I do, according to I am actually just too much sometimes. Anyways, guys, and so I find that really fascinating. And I think when talking to him, it kind of made me realize a lot of things as well, as far as the fact that, like, Diana was just not, when you're involved with people that are actually like crazy and evil and stuff, you don't get to exist unless you agree to do what they're doing. If you don't agree to do what they're doing and follow the footpath they're telling you to do, they're going to try and kill you. They're going to try and make you sick. They're going to try and get you into some psych ward somewhere. That's what they're going to do, because you are now making yourself a threat, even if you're not trying to threaten it. And so, I believe that translates to Harry. Harry was clearly traumatized by what happened with his mum. I think that was like the straw that broke the camel's back for him to be pretty much ready to leave if the opportunity arises. In comes Meghan Markle, beautiful young lady, and unfortunately, Satan's favorite costume. As we all know, the demonic kingdom are shapeshifters. We know this. We know that Satan is a shapeshifter. That's why Satan shapeshifts himself into the gods of all these religions. That's what he does. He shapeshifts himself into the gods of all of these religions. That's why they all have the same stories of where their religion originated from. There was a person, always a human, and not a god, who got some higher knowledge from some kind of angelic alien force that gave all the answers that nobody else ever had. And if you listen to this human here and follow these religions, you will go to heaven, and you can look down on others. That's how shapeshifts. And so, and that's why it's also interesting that, now Prince Charles is considered the head of the Church of England, which is it's perfect. It is perfect, by the way. How Satan is a genius as well. That's the problem that people don't realize. And that's why I can't afford to be naive. And that's why I feel for bless his heart, Harry. Because, in that combination of those two monsters is a really long day for you, sir. I feel so sorry for you. I am prayers for Harry. Lord, please protect Harry in the name of Jesus. Like, seriously, because she's a witch, Meghan Markle. I hate to say it. I can just tell. And it's from her actions. It's from the way that she I don't know. It's like the selfishness of herself. Because like I said, the thing why I mentioned even initially that the race thing became such a big deal is like, it's always everything to do with her. And that's what makes me go back to why I said I don't know how I feel about her sending in that letter when she was a kid. Because I'm like, was it really about saying, women are not only just good to be in the kitchen? Or was it that you don't want to have to be thought of as having to only be in the kitchen and you're doing this for yourself? Like, was this about me and Harry are both gone through stuff and let's go start a new life together where I actually care about him and he cares about me? Or is it still about you? Is this your opportunity to play the victim card all over again? Make everything about you, take advantage of somebody else. Have some good points in some things, and yet, I don't know, guys, I don't like to fight dirty. That's what I realized. It kind of seems like it might be an issue. I don't like to fight dirty, but I don't like to fight dirty. I don't like to have to destroy my enemy completely. To win, I prefer to win so obnoxiously and loudly and brightly that you can't even see my enemy at that point. That's my way of going about things. And also, I care about people, for real. And so, I don't think it's fair to have put Harry in this predicament with all his business out there, with all this stuff. I don't think it was necessary to start calling out the royal family as racist. Listen, even if there's some truth to that, heck, maybe the royal family is racist. Guess what? Maybe in your what should be female wisdom, which turns wicked when you're a witch, understand that it is better for his sake, if you actually care about the guy, to keep so much more of the stuff to yourself and between you guys. Because there are also backlashes and things that come in the world. And you should understand that you don't want to put him in a place to just be, attacked by the whole entire world for certain things that he's brought up. And this book that they did, oh Lord, I can't read it. I've heard the little excerpts from it and I'm just like, oh dear. Lord, help us all. Like, seriously, God, we need Jesus so badly. Like, Jesus, please. Like, I'm just like, how did she get him? How did he end up on that book? Doing that book and saying what he was saying? I was just like, Harry, I get it. Please tell your story. Tell it a different way. And please, sorry guys, I'm literally wiping off my mascara now. What a flipping annoyance. Please tell him, please, just have a different approach, I think. And I feel like the reason the approach came off the way it did and it became such a, what it was because of her. And I know this is a really weird video, guys, but this is all I have to say about Meghan Markle, honestly. And she does make the list. Welcome to your bonus entry. Shout out to Tim and Sarah. I can't wait to hear what you guys think about this. All of you guys on the winning team, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. For Life's a Game, what do you think? Maybe we'll have to come back with part 2 once I hear you guys' thoughts as well. But yeah, if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.